Hello again. This time I just wanted to share a knife, and this is potentially a rather old knife, and I have been interested lately in the so-called trade knives, or the knives of the settlers in the Old West. And everybody knows about the Bowie and Jim Bowie and the sandbar fight and all that. But still there is a lot of mystery around the Bowie knife. From what I can tell, he didn't have what we like to call a Bowie knife today at the sandbar fight. It was something he had made afterwards, and it is made as a fighting knife. But most people in the Old West and the settlers, they didn't need a fighting knife. They used a lot more of everyday kind of knives to prepare food and to do game processing and stuff like that. So they needed knives for a lot of things, but that meant they needed a different type of knife than a fighting knife. So mostly, or perhaps the most famous of those, are the names like Old Hickory, and more famous like that is the original Green River knives by Russell. And Russell started, I think, in 1836. He started a factory in Green River and started producing Green River knives. And they had a couple of models that they had several, I guess, but two models were perhaps the most popular, and one of them was what they called the Dadley. So when I came across this knife, it looked exactly like a Dadley, and it says Green River on the blade. But it's not from Russell. It's not a Russell-made Green River. It's an English-made knife. It's a knife from Sheffield. And it's made by a company called Nowill and Sons from Sheffield. And that company started as far back as in 1700. So I guess at one point they wanted to copy the Green River knife to get in on the sales in America because of the popularity of the Green River knives. So I came across this one. And you can zoom in, you can see that this is the sheath that it came with. I don't know if this is the original sheath, but I think it might be. Although this strap is probably not the original strap. It is fastened here with a rather new fastener, and underneath it says Sheffield England. That's why I believe that this might be the original sheath for the knife. But to the knife itself, you can see here, see there, it says J. Nowill and Sons Limited, Green River Knife, Sheffield, England. And this is the knife, the shape of the knife. It's identical to the Russell Green River the deadly knife. Even this part on the spine is exactly the same, and it's only on one side. Sorry. And it is a typical everyday kind of tool. It's functional, it's rather thin blade stock, so it slices very well, and it has a, let's see if I can, yeah, it has a 5-inch blade, and about a 4-inch handle. So it is a practical size knife for game processing and food prep. The only thing that I'm a little bit baffled about is I found only one exactly like this online that was for sale, I don't know, a few years ago or something, on eBay in the UK, and it said stainless steel, and I thought when I bought it that this must be a carbon steel, because that was the most common thing to make knives out of. So I did a little bit of research, and I found that Nowill and Sons Limited, they made a lot of knives, and from normal tableware or table cutlery to butcher knives and stuff. And they started making cutlery in stainless in the 1920s. So this can still be a fairly old knife. So I do believe it is made in stainless steel, although I'm not 100% sure. But I thought I'd try it and use it, because I like the shape of it, and the fact that it is such a thin blade. But I didn't really like the sheath that it came in. It's just cut for a belt to go through, and yeah, it's kind of thin and flimsy. So I decided to make my own sheath for it. So I made this one, and it's a nice sheath. I like it. I found out a bit too fancy. It didn't really match the knife that well, and on top of that I made an ass of myself. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm not left-handed. And I made a left-handed sheath. So it was a sheath. It's a nice sheath, but I can't use it. So I made another one, and I decided to make it a bit plainer, not so fancy. And I made this one. As you can see, this time I made it the right way around, and I think that this sheath fits the knife better in the way it's a plainer sheath. I like it. I like the sheath a lot. but it's not as fancy as this one, and I think that suits the knife better. This is the original, so I made this one. So I'm gonna try this knife for some time now. This is the first day I'm starting to use it, so I made this sheath, and I did put an edge on it, and it's now ready to be used. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know this knife. And I just wanted to share this, and if someone has information about this exact knife, there's a shield missing here. Was supposed to be a shield there, but you can see the name there. Let me see if this is... There you can see it. J. Nowill and Sons Limited, Green River Knife, Sheffield, England. If anyone can help me find out any more about this and help me to date the knife, because it could be, as I said, it could be 100 years old, or it could be made a couple of decades ago. I have no idea. So I really wanted to find out more about this knife, and I am gonna carry it now for a while, just to get to know it and see how it works. So please, if you know anything about this knife, please leave a comment, and thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.